Why, welcome, both of you. Good to have you here. I'm John Zidar, aka the Stock Wizard. This is On Top and Hot, where we like to focus in on hot penny stocks. See, I'm a day trader, and I primarily trade options and stocks under $5. And I'm always looking for a hot penny stock to share with you so that we can all make some money. Well, I've got one for us today. This is ticker FRGT, Freight Technologies. Now, I'm quite familiar with this company. I've been posting news on her for a couple years, but I've never ever covered her. The reason for that, she was missing a key factor in being a hot penny stock. You just can't have big news. You got to have heat in your chart. And she hasn't had much of that. She has been dribbling downhill, not hard, not fast, but she's been dribbling downhill for a while. It's not just till recently she started coming back up, and right now we are in a 200 squeeze on the long chart, looking like she's ready to break out. Now's the time to look at it since she's got hot news. So Freight Technologies, this is a U.S. company based out of Texas, finished today at about 92 cents, was up almost 40% today, jumping about 26 cents. Now this is a hot penny stock in the major exchange. She's on the NASDAQ, which is going to give you benefits over those OTC penny stocks. First off, there's no transaction fees on the major exchange. You get to trade your stocks for free, right? You get to trade these pre-market, aftermarket. Biggest gainers you'll ever make are during these periods of time, and you never get that opportunity with OTC penny stocks. There's a lot more money, a lot more volume up on the major exchanges, and a lot more rules. They're for the companies, but they help us. Keep the companies honest. Keep our investments safe. So what is Freight Technologies all about? Well, they're a trucking company that is also working on the water here in the United States and in Mexico. Cross-border shipping, logistics, big business, and it's getting bigger all the time. Now, to get some great information, we're just going to dive on over to their website. This is freighttechnologies.com. Freight being spelled FR8, not the letters. Freight Technologies has been a leading force, I do believe, since 2008 in the cross-border logistics industry for 7 years. So I stand corrected there. Leveraging our deep industry knowledge and innovative spirit, we have developed a suite of cutting-edge technological solutions designed to revolutionize freight management. Now, each one of these is a subsidiary. They've broken down all the different divisions, made them each subsidiary so they can concentrate on each one of them and work them well. So what we've got here is Freight App, a platform for matching freight and carriers, optimizing availability and efficiency in transportation. You've got lots of companies out there that have extra space on a vehicle going over to Mexico. Got anything you want to go there? We can fit it in. We can give you a deal. Everybody's happy doing that. The Freight App can do that. It can connect consumers, businesses, truckers, carriers, all of them together so they can find that empty space. Wavely is the maritime logistics, expanding their capabilities beyond land transportation. You got to start dealing with ships. You get a lot more cargo on a vessel on the water than you do on land, by a long shot. They also have Freight Fleet. This is dedicated fleet management, providing customized and scalable solutions for specific needs for people who have lots of trucks in one company or something. Freight Now connects LTL carriers, facilitating smaller and more flexible shipments. This is like coastal stuff. You know, I'm not saying mail, but they're smaller packages. Could just be inner city stuff. They also have Freight Radar, real-time fleet monitoring and analysis, offering complete visibility and control over operations. GPS. We're watching you. We know where all of our carriers are. We know where all of our goods are at. And Fleet Rocket, the ultimate AI-powered TMS for shippers and brokers. AI is doing whatever you can imagine it can do, from invoicing to figuring out how much it's going to cost to get it from point A to point B. I mean, whatever AI can do, it is doing. Matter of fact, they tell us that at Freight Technologies, they are harnessing the power of AI to optimize freight logistics, improve their efficiency, reduce costs, and enhance decision making. Their advanced algorithms automate load matching and provide real-time insights to maximize supply chain performance. As I said, stuff is always moving constantly, and there is available space. There's empty areas on these carriers that they want to fill, and they are realizing how to fill them. You've just got to make it available quickly, and that's what they're doing. With AI-driven solutions, they help carriers and shippers move freight smarter, faster, and more profitably. Now, as you would imagine, the company has a lot of different people that they're working with. They have industry partners, lots of different companies that are helping them do their jobs. And of course, they've got lots of clients. We don't have the whole list here by any means, but you can see some of the big ones: Whirlpool, Amazon, Samsung, Kawasaki, huge companies that they are working for. And the big thing that is happening right now, this is the most recent piece of news that just came out, as it says right there, November 19th, today. Freight Technologies announces the commercial launch of Zidar. This is their AI-powered freight rate prediction and carrier matching platform. This new AI-powered pricing tool delivers real-time rate predictions and intelligent carrier matching for shippers and carriers in Mexico and the U.S. Ta-da! They've brought on AI. Fact of the matter is, their revenues have been falling, and it's not because they're not working hard and haven't got a lot of business. It's because things are getting more expensive, and you need to know how to operate this smart. And that's what AI is going to do. It's going to show them how to move stuff easier, faster, and cheaper, saving money for everybody, keeping everybody happy. So this is what they're doing. AI is the big push right now. That is what has got me excited about it. That is why I think the chart is starting to move. So let's go take a look at that news. You know, at first glance, it doesn't look like they're doing much. Shh, trust me, they're doing a lot. I post pre-market news every single day from 7:20 to 9 o'clock. I do it under my name, John Zidar, on Twitter. I do it at Pennybois Discord, and I do it on one Facebook page. And over the last 2 years, I have seen a lot of news for Freight Technologies. They are expanding. They are getting a lot of contracts. They are working hard. The problem is that they're losing money doing all of that. Yikes. They need help. They need AI. And they've got AI now, and it is going to help in a very, very big way. The last 3 pieces of news tell us what they're doing with their AI. It was October 17th. They launched AI-powered automated invoice validation in Fleet Rocket TMS and Freight App platforms. Freight App platforms is for the consumers. It's like USPS. You got something really big you need shipped, get on their platform, schedule it. They will come by, pick it up. AI will invoice you. Don't you worry about that. AI will find the fastest, quickest way to get your product wherever it is you need it to go, and cheap for the company so that they can make money. October 27th, the company advances Fleet Rocket TMS with expanded GPS network. I think they've got something like 54 GPS networks now, monitoring all of their carriers wherever they are. So they're watching big time. You're not going to rob them blind, that's for sure. And then the last piece of news, the one we just saw on the website, just came out today. The company announced their commercial launch of Zidar, the AI-powered freight rate prediction and carrier matching platform, which is really great. You know, it's kind of like airplanes. You've got an empty seat. You can find someone to fill that seat. Good for the consumer, good for the company. They're doing the same thing with these vehicles. So it's looking really good for the company with the AI. I think that's what they need to streamline here. The other piece of information we need to take a look at comes from their filings. Now, we've got a few filings over here to consider, and I did want to dive into more than one, but we got lucky. This very top 6K here is a shareholder meeting that they're going to have December 18th, and they outline everything that was in the other 6Ks. So this is real quick and easy for us. Now, there's actually quite a lot of news here about what's been going on. They're asking the shareholders to approve a whole bunch of deals that they have made. January of this year, March, April, August, where they are getting proceeds of $3 million, $5.2 million, $20 million, but they have to give shares for all of that. Of course they do. But they're getting a special preferred share. This is a Class A4 series, and this is a B preferred share. And I don't know a whole lot about them. But when you add up all the money, there's about $30 million here that they're going to get. Plus, they're getting 11,300,000 FET tokens, FET tokens. I don't know what it is. I'm not making a big deal about it. I'm just saying, along with all the money, they are also getting over 11 million FET tokens. That's going to deserve some due diligence just to see what they're worth, right? After all these deals are approved, they also want them to approve this deal they made with an obligated investor. The investor has agreed to buy up to $1 billion worth of newly issued shares. Talk about shareholder dilution. Anytime the company needs him to buy some. So he's not going to buy them all at once. But when the company needs some money, they're just going to ask him, hey, buy $200 million worth of shares. Boom. And there's going to be all those new shares on the market. They're going to have money. We're going to have shareholder dilution. Now, there are a few key rules they have to stay within for this deal. One, they cannot allow this investor to have any more than 4.99% voting power. He can also not have any more than 9.99% of all the shares. So those two things in order. Outside of that, there's nothing here we have to worry about. There's no reverse stock splits or anything like that. They are going to vote on compensation for their executives, and they're going to talk about the next meeting at this meeting. And that's it. So we got a lot of things that are being approved. There is going to be a lot more money coming into the company. There's a lot of people that are backing this company up because logistics is never going to die. Shipping is never going to die. It is just going to get bigger and bigger, just smoother and smoother, right? That's the whole point from this point of the game, is to get everybody what they want quick and easy, like Amazon figured out how to do. 1-day shipping. We didn't think it was possible. All right, let's go take a look at the relative volume for the company now. You've got to be kidding. Wow, that's an explosion of extra volume. Over the last 30 days, she's been doing a respectable 5 million shares a day. Today, she did 55 times that much, 276 million. And what's even more exciting is when you lap that volume on top of the share structure, that is 100 times the outstanding share structure. We've only got 2.7 million, and we did 275 million shares today. Folks, that's when you get the chart to start running hot and fast and going parabolic. Right now, she seems to me she is ready to launch in a very big way. We have a super low float. I don't know what it is because I have no idea what the insiders own, but I know they probably own something. And even if they didn't, it isn't going to be any more than 2.7. And a low float starts at 10 million. And who cares what they call a low float? Fact of the matter is, we're getting volume 100 times in excess of what our float is. That's all we need to know. We need to be watching this stock right now. Market cap for the company, we're under 2 million. Financials, are they making money? Yes, they are. It isn't the best. It's been falling over the last 4 years. They were at about 22 million 4 years ago. We know that's millions because we've got to add 3 zeros to any of the numbers on these charts. But from there, they've actually dropped all the way down to about 14 million. Now, we are bringing in profit all along the way, so things are in the black, but things have been slowing down. We've needed something to pick this up, and I don't mean more contracts. I don't mean working harder. With inflation and everything, it's tough to keep things even keel. AI is supposed to help with that. We're going to see if AI can do it. I'm believing it can. Take a look at our quarterlies. Ouch. Yeah, over the last year, she has dropped from 4.3 million down to, let's call it 3 million. So we've lost about 25%. We're still in the black. We're still bringing in profit, but things are slowing down. We need to pick them up. You know, shipping and logistics isn't slowing down. That's big business that never yields, never stops. So we need to see these revenues start to increase. Balance sheet for the company. remembering those 3 zeros here as well. Cash and cash equivalents, I like to think of as the bank. We got about $500,000 in there, closer to 600,000. Total assets, we're at about 17 million. Total liabilities, 8.2 million, about half, right? We get the other, that's 8.7 million stockholder equity. So the company's making revenues, they're making profits, we're making profits. So from a day trader standpoint, it isn't looking too bad. From a swing trader standpoint, isn't looking too bad. All right, let's go take a look at, I do believe that takes everything we've looked at, right? We've looked at our disclosures. We did. Now, you may want to come over here and go through the 10Q, which is your most recent quarterly report that just came out in August. Now, as I said, the company has a lot of deals. They've had a lot of contracts. They're involved in a lot of different things. And the best way to do your due diligence and all of that is not to go to Google, not to go through all their news presses. Oh my God, that's a lot of work. A lot of headaches. You're going to be missing stuff, I guarantee it. Just jump into their most recent 10Q or 10K, and that's going to give you all the information. And to make it real easy, just put in a date. You know, put in March or put in 2025 or whatever you think will narrow down the band for what you're looking for. Boom, 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 boom. You can find all the current news and information that you're looking after. So that's the way I like to do my due diligence, is through the 10Ks and the 10Qs. So there you go, folks. We've got a company here that has just involved AI, and I do believe that's going to make the difference with their financials. Business is good. Business is growing. This over-the-border business is becoming very big. I think we need to be watching this company, especially because the chart is moving right now. And as a day trader, that's what I'm after. Fast movements on the chart, and I think we've got one. Let's go take a look at it. This is Freight Technologies on my free trading platform, Think or Swim. We have got ticker FRGT opened up to a 6-month, 4-hour view, a lot like the yearly view. That is our 52-week high and 52-week low, and she has been in a gentle downtrend the entire time. Not hard, not fast, but a downtrend nonetheless the entire time. Now our 52-week low just hit the other day at 62 cents, and our 52-week high at the beginning of May, it says was about $16. Not true. That is an adjusted high. What I mean by that is it was affected by this reverse stock split of 1 and 4. In the good old days, when there was a reverse stock split, you got a big green bar on that day showing us the price kicking up, whatever the ratio of the split was. This was a 1 and 4. So if the price was 25 cents, it would have kicked up to $1. Right? 4 times 25 cents is $1. And then we see what everybody reacts to at the end of that. Well, they don't do that big green bar thing anymore. Now what they do is they multiply the entire chart as far back as it goes. It could go back 20 years. It doesn't matter. They multiply every single number, every single day across the entire chart by the ratio of that split. In this case, 4. So if you want to know what the price was, what the high was on any of those days, you got to divide by 4. So this high here of almost $16 has to be divided by 4. So we would be closer to $4. Once we hit that high, whatever it was exactly, we came down hard and fast back down to our falling 200-day MA, fell underneath it, and she has been predominantly underneath that 200-day MA all this time. Now, she's had some push-throughs. She wasn't breaking out, but they were worthy of playing. This one jumped from basically $1 to $3. Ooh, who wouldn't take 200% gains, right? But they're far few and in between, but you could sit around and wait. But what's exciting me right now is that we have a 200 squeeze. And it isn't exactly there yet, but it is so close that I am sweating bullets waiting for it to happen. I think this is going to be a nice run, folks. A 200 squeeze is when you have the price between the 200-day MA and the 200 haul. When they start coming together, the price looks for an exit in an abrupt way. Well, right now, both 200s are falling. The 200 MA's at the top, the 200 haul at the bottom. Now, once that 200 haul turns up, it's going to give push, turbo to the price. And if the price is over top of the 50-day MA like it is right now, it is going to rip, in my fair opinion, 8 out of 10 times it does, to and through the 200, just like it did right here. It jumped from 65 cents up to $1.38. That right there was over 100% run. We could get a lot more out of this, folks. She is already above her 9-day, above the 50. Our 20 is turned up. That is basically the steering wheel for the price. And our 200 haul is still falling. Once that levels out and turns up, we're going to get a boost. And that's when you get a launch. That's when you get the match to the wick to the dynamite. And this thing will blow from here way up there. Now, all I can say is once it gets over top of that 200-day MA, take your gains. She's probably, in most cases, going to come back down to the 200, if not the next MA underneath, and bounce off of those and then start to go. So it just makes sense to take your gains once, wait for her to come down, buy back in if she looks good, and ride it back up and take gains a second time, right? We had lots of volume come in today, and all of our oscillators are hot right now. They're not on fire, but they are definitely hot. Coming down to our 20-day 1-hour view. So she is falling. We had a bounce here where she went from $1.17 up to $2.80. That is about 90% rip, but that was all aftermarket and pre-market, right? That's what you get with these major exchange stocks. A lot of movement aftermarket, pre-market. And if you're not watching, you're missing it. And after she came back on, once the bell hit, it just fell. Came all the way back down to where she started and kept falling. Till she came down to our 200 haul. She's riding that as best she can. Took a crouch here before the pounce from 62 cents up to $1.33. And now she's come back down with all of our MAs crossing the 200 right now. Right? Our 20 is crossing it. That's a golden cross. Our 50 is right up underneath, turned up. And here's our 200 haul coming up. The 200 haul is just as strong and has just as much authority as that 200-day MA. So when it crosses that 200 MA, that's a lot of power given to the price. Right now, the price is above the 200. On the 9, it is not a full bar under the 9. I think she is ready to run, folks. I'm liking the setup right now. Our oscillators, they're kind of even keel. Everything's a little flat right now, but not cold. Not by any means. Last look, 5-day, 5-minute. Down to that crouch, right? She's just rolling downhill. Boom. Hits this low, comes up. Here's our rising 200 haul. For some reason, pre-market, she rips. Well, I can see a 200 squeeze there, right? She's on top of the 50. We got a rising 200 haul, a pinching 200 MA, and then here she rips. Boom, going from 65 cents. This is all pre-market up to $1.04. And then she basically went sideways. She actually started to climb on that 9-day after the bell, pushed it all the way up to $1.37. Back down to our 20 when everything rolled over. Follow the 20. The 20 is your steering wheel for the price. She started to roll down. We got a death cross over our 200 haul. Down under it. Death cross on our 50. Down under it. Is she going to go under the 200 MA? That would be a bad one. No. She's leveled off. She is starting to go flat and come back up right now, as well as our 50-day MA. And we have a rising 200. Our 200 haul is still falling, but it's working on it right now. In my opinion, I think FRGT belongs on your watch list right now. I think as soon as volume comes in, remember, we're talking 2.7 million shares outstanding. I don't know what the float is. And today she did 100 times that, 275 million. And we're just getting into position for the power move. I'm liking it. Can you tell? I didn't cover all the information, so go do some more due diligence. Please. Remember, the more you know, the more you're going to grow. See you, folks.